Hey everyone, great news! I've just heard the best news. I just went on twitter.net and it turns out, according to many a music fan over there, I am sexiest. I'm over here, I'm not even trying. I had no idea I was being such a sexy review boy. Sexiest reviewer without even going for it is just like such an incredible accolade that I just didn't really see coming. Hello? Hello? Uh-huh. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. They're saying sexist. Sexist, not... Are you sure? Okay. Well, turns out I'm not the sexiest reviewer. Turns out I'm a sexist reviewer. Yes, online, the discourse is discoursing once again, taking shape in very interesting ways around the reviews. Most recently, when it's come to takes that I've had around a couple of recent albums this year. One, the new Taylor Swift LP, The Tortured Poets Department, and two, the recent Gracie Abrams album, The Secret of Us. Someone who, due to her songwriting style and the Taylor Swift feature packed into that record, I referred to as kind of Taylor Swift's baby creatively, as again, her songs are very derivative of Miss Swift's tunes. Her vocals, also pretty much a Lorde ripoff. Once again, haven't really heard somebody out there in the mainstream that is this blatant of a copycat since Greta Van Fleet. Like, her musical style and vocal style is very provably derivative, and seems to not even care that that's the case, especially given that the production on her latest record is packed with producers and collaborators that Taylor Swift is known for working with. Which, I mean, that's just proof of how strong the Taylor Swift economy is right now. She can basically do a Playboy Cardi style move and pick out some other artists who are essentially just ripping him off completely and bringing nothing interesting to the table in the process. And just by virtue of that endorsement, those artists kind of like continually blow up. And I mean, this new record of Gracie's is her most commercially successful yet. So, there's not really any arguing against the Taylor Swift bump here. But yes, my criticisms of this record and its very plain-faced mediocrity have been met, of course, with calls of sexism. Yes, the reason I don't like this very underwhelming, boring, average, and very dime a dozen album is because I just inherently have something against women. And look, let me sidebar here and explicitly say the point of this video isn't to laugh off the idea of sexism, especially when it comes to the music industry where there is still provably a lot of sexism about. I don't think there would be as many rap cells out there freaking out and getting all up in arms over the fact that I enjoy a lot of Sexy Red's music, if not for sexism, because a lot of those same guys listen to very hedonistic, rudimentary, filthy, raunchy rap music and bangers made by dudes, and they're completely happy with it, totally fine with it. But when Sexy Red or an artist does it that isn't meant to appeal to them as a young male demographic, then all of a sudden it's wrong, it's horrible, it's the worst thing in the world, what are you doing, how could you possibly enjoy this? So yes, of course sexism is an issue in the music industry, but I would like to take a moment here to talk about the ways in which Taylor Swift's fan base and many fan bases that are adjacent to that fan base kind of weaponize this claim in order to sort of just cast off criticism of Taylor Swift and anything she does. Because if there's any sexism going on here, it's actually being engaged in by the Taylor Swift fan base that's making these claims. Many of them seem broadly ignorant to the wider world of women artists out there in the music world, because they don't really dig deeper into the wealth of women artists out there making a variety of different kinds of music, and don't really seem to feel like they need to, because they're kind of listening to the ultimate woman, the alpha woman, and they sort of falsely use her as like, a barometer for the well-being of all women when in actuality that's insane. That's sort of like using the stock market as proof of like how well everybody in the country is doing financially. Just because you have one lady who is at a peak of her career commercially and financially and selling out tours and just getting tons of attention on her latest record and so on and so forth. Yeah, just because you have that, it doesn't mean that women in the music industry broadly are doing okay, nor does it mean that when you criticize Taylor Swift's music or the way she releases it and repeatedly shoves it down people's throats, that you're criticizing and attacking all women, especially considering many fans are kind of like pointing these issues out and how they're to the commercial detriment of Taylor's female contemporaries like Charli XCX and Billie Eilish. But yeah, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like this is a weird reflection of the ways in which capitalism can kind of co-opt social movements, especially when those social movements end up kind of being adopted by those who tend to be doing very well in the capitalist system, vis-a-vis, again, Taylor Swift with her supposed adherence to feminism, which, lo and behold, really only focuses at the end of the day on her personal success as a woman, not the success of women broadly as a demographic. At the end of the day, I guarantee that even if we talk about a bunch of artists who are like pretty accessible in terms of mainstream or somewhat mainstream popularity, that these rabid fans defending Taylor Swift against all the sexist criticism being thrown at her, they're not listening to Charli XCX. They're probably even barely listening to Dua Lipa. Very few of them likely care for the well-being and success of Billie Eilish, of bands like Boy Genius. If they've heard a Mitski song in the past 30 days, it was probably in passing on TikTok. In fact, when I see the discourse around many a Taylor Swift Twitter account on the internet, often these other artists are posed as like competition that Taylor has to thwart commercially, that like their popularity and success and well-being are like a threat to Taylor. And I mean, I know standum discourse on the internet can get kind of toxic sometimes, but come the fuck on. This is ridiculous, and it feels crazy for me to have to say this as a guy, but this is like not feminist in any way whatsoever. This is not how you do feminist advocacy. And honestly, you're watering the term down and diminishing its meaning by using it as a weapon to protect your favorite artists that you like, because you probably haven't dug that deeply into a whole lot of different artists and genres. Defend an artist that you like because they're being criticized for making mediocre music. Like, the non-sexist thing to do would be to hold that artist to a level of scrutiny that you would any other artist, specifically men, which, if we're going by that metric, I mean, honestly, I am pretty sexist, because the proof that is truly in the pudding, when we look at my scores, when we look at my most negative reviews, like most broadly, the fact of the matter is that I hate men. 6.1 to 6.5. The male end is slightly lower. No, it's true. I really do hate men. Men make up a majority of my not goods, of my zeros, of my 1 out of 10s too, of my piss take type reviews. And while yes, it is true, men have gotten a great deal of praise from me over the years as well, 10s out of 10, so on and so forth, I really do have kind of a love-hate relationship with them. And a majority of the time when my ire is up, it's a guy getting it, which is why I want to end this video saying, again, I am sexist against men. So men, you better watch out. You're on thin ice, dudes. You guys are the best. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up, or a link to subscribe to the channel, which is on the screen. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Anthony Fantano is the sexiest forever.